Welcome to Dubs Only. We're coming live right
Yes,
after
sir.
the Game 4 win, 101-98. Josh Hall, what's up, man?
Oh, what's going on? I'm beaming after that win. An
Well,
ugly game for 3.5 quarters, but they eke it out. And
that is one of the most ugly wins. You take it. We take that win every time, but just that I was so frustrated watching that game. I felt it like storing in my head. I just wanted to just grab a pillow and punch it or something. It was awful, but taking the win after this was good.
that Wiggins 3-pointer at the top of the key that just missed everything. That
You
just
see
hurt
that
me to
shot,
my soul.
you're like, oh god, it's one of those games. It's he was so open. Oh, it's good, but with all the clunkers that the Warriors threw up today, they shot horribly. It was some of the most disgusting basketball I'd ever watched for those first 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, it was. I don't think we've ever seen a Warriors playoff game like that.
Not
It
not one
was
that we want to remember. I mean,
no.
there have been some bad ones that we've been able to erase from the memory, but just
I mean, the thing that saved us was free throws. I mean, you go 20 for 22 from the line. Like
most of those in the last 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Probably
like
8 of them at least.
That just seals the deal right there. Because I mean, they were searching for that 3-point shot to try to tie it for so long. And it just was not falling.
Both teams were just really bad. Just straight up bad from the field tonight. I mean, the numbers towards the end of the game brought them up for each side, but overall, Warriors shot 9 for 37 from 3. Grizzlies shoot 9 for 35. Neither team will be satisfied with how they played tonight. The Warriors are just lucky that they came back with the win. And it's tough watching the Grizzlies play without Ja Morant. They're 20-5 without him. So
but when Dillon Brooks goes 5 for 19 from the field in 39 minutes,
one of them being a heave at the end that he banked in. Oh my god! And the shot selection that he was going with too was he was forcing shots up. He wanted to be that guy. He wanted to shut down that roaring Chase Center crowd, but he couldn't do it.
The third and fourth options for Memphis got to step up if they want to try to even take game 5. Like Desmond Bane, you took 8 shots the entire game.
Yeah.
Where's the Desmond Bane we saw in Memphis against Minnesota?
Like he's had that back injury, but yeah, I it's hard for me to say because I personally haven't watched too much Desmond Bane to know exactly what he's going to be looking like fully healthy. His shot will look good at times, but you're right. 8 shot attempts is not good, especially with Ja not even in the game. I was impressed by the play of Jaren Jackson Jr. That guy balled out. However, he was 0 for 7 on threes. He finally came down to earth, but you can't expect that poor of a shooting display from him. But he was getting to where he wanted on the court. He got 5 blocks. He was everywhere. And towards the end of the game, you knew the Grizzlies were going to go to him, and I was worried. I thought he was going to get to a spot and get that bucket.
And the Warriors didn't have a ton of answers for him. They tried the bigs, they rotated Porter, Draymond, and Kevon all on him. And he's just too athletic where he can, no matter what big is on him, really, he has the mismatch. He just, in a couple more years, you'll see the development of him, I'm sure. If he can just get a little bit more crafty on the inside, he has that left-handed hook. He's good with both hands, but gets a little bit more crafty with his footwork. He's going to be a menace for a long time.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. I mean, I'd be naive to say that the Grizzlies don't have an incredibly bright future ahead of them. It sucks having Ja go down. It sucks, facing the Warriors right now, going back home down 3-1. Things are looking pretty bleak for them right now with their season, which is tough because they've been so impressive. But just looking at everybody that they've been able to put on the court, Ja is obviously a superstar. Jaren Jackson Jr., one of the best defensive players in the game for his age, and he's getting better every year. Desmond Bane is great. They have a great young core. Zaire Williams has been balling out. Tyus Jones is a solid guy. It's a solid point guard to have on your team.
Zaire Williams is one of the highest upside guys from this most recent draft class. I was really high on him. I thought he was a potential for the Warriors at 14. Obviously, I still love Moody. Hasn't gotten a lot of minutes this year to show it, but I think he will show his value with time. But the Grizzlies are going to be a force for a long time. I agree. I thought Jenkins should have won Coach of the Year over Monty Williams. You know, I think you expect that from the Suns. So, you know, nothing against Monty, but I think Coach of the Year is something where, you know, it's exceeding expectations.
There were tons of great options this year for Coach of the Year. You could have given it. I'm blanking on every coach's name right now, but
Boston's coach, he could have easily gotten Taylor Jenkins, obviously. The Cleveland coach of Bickerstaff, he could have easily got it as well.
Oh yeah.
But you know, tangents aside, I'm hopeful that Ja Morant can come back for Game 5, so it's not that narrative of, oh, the Warriors won because Ja Morant was out.
We know we're gonna hear that. You know, we still hear about Kawhi going down, and that was obviously unfortunate. Nobody wanted that to happen, but the Warriors were going to win that series no matter what. It's another hypothetical. The Warriors are winless in all hypotheticals, and there have been a ton over the years. And you had tweeted it out earlier tonight that it sucks having to face the Grizzlies without Ja, but the Warriors made a trade of their own, not having Steve Kerr tonight. And you know, maybe it's not too fair of a trade, but I could totally feel his absence.
Yeah, you really could. The passion on the sidelines, and just the way that I think he gets the best out of his players when it's not on camera.
I was what I noticed a lot was not a ton of adjustment from Mike Brown. It was all right. You know what? Damian Lee, go out there. He played 13 minutes tonight, and he just didn't really do that much. Kuminga got pulled real early, and it was another start for him where he couldn't really get off to too much. He didn't take any shots, and he didn't have any turnovers, which was different than the start he had in Game 3. But I would have loved to see them turn to him at times when they just had nothing going offensively. Jonathan Kuminga is one of those guys who can get a bucket.
I think we saw a lot of Otto Porter, Kevon Looney minutes together. And I think that's a great opportunity to throw Kuminga in there, have Otto at the 3 in his natural position, and play Kuminga at the power forward. And when you have Steven Adams, Brandon Clark in there, because they did play some good minutes together, or even when you have Adams and Jackson together, Kuminga's strong enough to battle with those guys, and it is more than athletic to complement the lack of athleticism with Otto Porter and Kevon Looney. So
Otto Porter saved the day today. He was the only guy who could hit anything from deep. He shot 4 for 6, and all of those were huge. Ugh.
His career high for the playoffs. So
really,
4 threes, you know, it's not too many, but for Otto Porter, after struggling through a lot of injuries, I'm glad to see him playing a role in these playoffs. Because when we signed him, when the Warriors signed him in the offseason, I was super high on it, but I also knew how injury prone he was. So I'm just glad to see that they were able to keep him healthy through the season, and he's contributing. Because with Iguodala being out, you know, that veteran wing, you know, we thought we were going to be missing that. and we're getting solid minutes from Otto Porter.
Yeah, Porter played great tonight. Wiggins was good too. He shot over 50% from the field, which was just kind of unheard of tonight. 7 for 13, even with that clanker of a three that you mentioned earlier. But again, Wiggins with 10 rebounds, 5 of them offensive. That's huge. It's another game where the Warriors out rebound the Grizzlies, and it's just like, where did that come from? It's been really nice to see the hustle that these players have been putting in, and you don't expect that from somebody like Wiggins because we've seen him play so passively. We've gotten used to him playing like that since the Timberwolves trade, really.
And I think the broadcasters have mentioned it a lot. He was the primary scoring option in Minnesota. He was never relied on for his defense. He's that type of first round pick, that first overall pick, who just never like lived up to his potential. But now we're seeing a mature, complete Wiggins, and it may not be the player that people thought was coming out of Kansas, but he's worth his money. A lot. The talk was he's not worth his contract. I think he's worth the contract, and I'm a little nervous what's going to happen in a year's time when it's time to re-sign. Who do you choose? Poole, Wiggins, the old regime. How do you balance that? I don't know. That's something for Bob Myers to figure out.
We'll focus on it after our playoff run, right?
Let's just make it through. I agree.
We have to focus on the now, right? There's too much that could go wrong in the off season. But hey, maybe the Warriors are going to be that destination. Come here if you want to go on a deep playoff run. We got the Splash Bros back. We have two-way Wigs. Come on board.
Two-way Wigs. I like that. That is the new nickname for Wiggins, and I'm here for it.
Oh yeah, been hearing that one for a minute. But hey, just have we even spoken about Steph Curry yet?
No.
Another solid game from Steph where Steph has been I don't want to say off. I mean, he's definitely shooting below what we expect him to, but it's like he's been messing around for a little bit, and then fourth quarter comes along and he's like, all right, fine, I'll show up. He scored 18 of his 32 in the fourth quarter, all of them needed, 8 for 9 from the free throw line. That when he missed it, it was like, oh no. But hey, what did you think about how Steph played tonight?
He's been so different than what we've all come to expect from him. The dialogue since the start of our runs in the playoffs has always been he doesn't perform. That's a narrative that people like to give when they don't look at the numbers, because his numbers speak for themselves. And I agree, he's not shooting the way he should be. It frustrates me so much because he always misses the easy shots.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's worried about being too open.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, I've seen that, the little hesitation before those shots go up. You don't see that from Clay. Clay will just clank it anyway. But it's interesting because you want Steph to just like get to your spot. You're confident. You're Stephen Curry. Just take it. Like, we believe in you no matter what. And he ended up getting his numbers. He ended up with 32 points somehow. And
it's quiet. It's a quiet 32. It's not going noticed. If Devin Booker puts up 32, Luka Doncic puts up 32, the media goes insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Steph Curry, he's not getting that attention anymore.
I wouldn't say he's not getting the attention anymore. I mean, he's still one of those, like, one of the faces of the NBA.
But it's not as loud as it used to be. It's, of course we hold him to a higher standard because he is Stephen Curry, but it's quiet, and it's not as recognized how great he actually is.
What I really love about Steph is, he'll put up these clankers sometimes, and he shot 4 for 14 from 3 tonight, but he finds a way to deliver. We've seen him for years just grind out these wins, and sometimes with his shot making and sometimes with just what he can do on the open floor. And we saw that against tonight. He started attacking the rim and he started just getting into Dillon Brooks's face. Not literally, but we know. And the Warriors pulled it out, and it was a funny game because I don't know about you, but I was frustrated the entire time because the Warriors just were not playing it to the level that they're capable of. But then the fourth quarter comes along, and it's one of those games where I'm standing in front of the TV, my arms crossed, just like, come on, let's get this win.
You're just holding your breath every time the shot goes out, just hoping it goes in.
Yeah, but hey, the Warriors escaped and they're up 3-1 now. Do you think they close it out in game 5?
I think it all depends on Ja Morant's health. I hate to put it on that because a series is bigger than one player, but you don't have that usual 2-day rest period that they would get. Games on Wednesday night,
right?
You get 1 day travel. They'll probably travel back to Memphis tonight, would be my guess.
It's been funny because what is his injury? It's been deemed as right knee soreness. Taylor Jenkins said that he got an MRI, but they wouldn't disclose what it was. Yet he's still heavily limping, and he was doubtful the entire time leading up to the game. So, I mean, there's a whole lot to still be discovered and made public about what this injury is, but it seems like he's not going to suit up in game 5, just from my outside perspective.
This sort of reminds me of the Chris Paul shoulder injury, where I don't think he ever had like an official diagnosis of like what was wrong with his shoulder, but it was just hurt. Yeah, I remember I listened to the podcast where he goes on JJ Regg's podcast. I think that's one of the best basketball podcasts out there right now.
Oh yeah.
No partnership, no nothing like that, but hands down to JJ Redick. That podcast is fantastic. And he goes, he could not move his shoulder. He couldn't dribble the basketball. He could not shoot. Maybe just some players have that mental strength and some players don't, to just persevere and push through. Ja Morant is a budding superstar, but does he have that grit that Memphis likes to pride themselves on? I don't know.
I don't know if that translates to playing through an injury. It just depends on how serious it is. Team doctors aren't going to clear somebody if they can't play, but we all want Ja out there on the court. I think if Ja doesn't play in game 5, the Warriors do take it. I can't see them putting up the performance that they did today. The Grizzlies will play better, but the Warriors will too.
It's going to be a hostile environment. It's going to be, I think it's the type of atmosphere that the Warriors will thrive off of being the villain in.
Yeah, and just to close it out on the road would be pretty sweet.
Just close it on the road, get some extra rest, because the Phoenix Dallas series is going 7.
Yeah, you think so?
I do. I think that goes 7.
And who do you think takes it?
I want to see Dallas.
Yeah, we want to see Dallas. We want to, but will we? Is the big
will
question.
We? I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say Dallas. I think Dallas gets it done. Dallas in 7. That's my prediction there.
It's been an interesting one to watch because our fan favorite of you just mentioned him, Chris Paul, has just been clunking it recently. 5 points in game 4. He had 7 turnovers in game 3. Fouled out yesterday too. He's not playing up to his level. You know what? As a Warriors fan, I hope he doesn't play better. I want to see. Of course, I want to see the Warriors play the Suns and just grind it out and send Chris Paul home again, because it's year after year after year the Warriors have done it, and there's nothing like it. But You want to see Dallas? I would be totally happy with Dallas, but it's tough because just this might be a little bit of a tangent, maybe not, but the way that the Warriors played today, I just kept thinking that if they played a team like Phoenix, or if they played any of those four teams in the East in the finals, like they'd be getting blown out. They cannot get off to these clunker starts.
And I think they're still getting over that playoff rust. I think this team is still learning how to play together. I think you saw that a lot tonight, where they just weren't all on the same page. Like that play where both Curry and Clay did the back cut together, that was not done on purpose. They both had the right idea, but the execution there. And then there's a lot of plays where it just looked like they were confused on who should be screening, who should be going, back around to get the handoff.
I mean, and that's something that they'll have to clean up. There was a lot of overplaying on Memphis's side, and the Warriors not really capitalizing it. There were those backdoor cuts, but Memphis was ready, and the Warriors didn't really adapt. And we'll have to see what they do with that in the coming days. But it's a team by team scenario, and the Mavs and the Suns are both better defensively than the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies haven't been too impressive on that side of the court. So the Warriors have been fortunate with who they faced so far because they've been able to get away with these lackluster efforts and still pull out wins. They need to clean it up, and they need to play a much more cohesive style of basketball to really push themselves to a championship if they really want it.
I agree. And I know we're a Warriors focused podcast here, but they're part of the NBA. So do we want to put out our predictions for the 4 series remaining?
Let's do that. Yeah, let's wrap up the show with our predictions going forward. You had said Mavs in 7. I'm gonna say Suns in 7.
Okay.
I think who do you think wins Game 5 tomorrow?
Game 5, it's at Phoenix. I think Phoenix gets that one.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's just one of those series where the home team wins every game.
Exactly. They played poor last game, played poor in Dallas, really. They feed off the home energy. Chris Paul revenge game, if you will.
Oh yeah.
But then Luke is going to get his, so we'll see what the rest of the series holds. Right. But then the other game, Miami, Philadelphia. Who do you like for that series?
My gut tells me the Heat will pull it out, but I'm just going to jump ahead, and I think every other series might go 7 games.
I think you're right. I have no counter argument on that, because I think all these teams match up so well with each other that it's just going to be tic tac who's gonna win home court. But personally, the finals that I want to see is Warriors Mavericks, and I want to see Celtics Sixers.
Okay.
I think the Miami Heat play boring basketball.
All right, you put it on the record.
I'm throwing shade out there. Miami Heat listeners, if you're out there, I don't like the way your team plays basketball. I think it's slow and it's just not fun to watch, and it's not what playoff basketball is about. And I want to see Joel Embiid and James Harden go up against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Oh yeah. I am, for my own personal reasons, rooting for the Heat. I'm rooting for like a Warriors Heat finals so that I can drive down to Miami and try to catch a game, because I'm not making it to Boston, Milwaukee, or Philadelphia, or Phoenix, or Dallas. Florida's far away from all those places. I think the conference finals that we'll see is Warriors versus Suns. And if any of those series go 6 games, the one that I would feel most confident about it would be Suns in 6. However, so Warriors versus Suns, and then on the Eastern Conference side, I think it's going to be Heat Bucks, and the Bucks may pull through that. But there's so much basketball left to be played, and this is why we love the playoffs, and especially as a Warriors podcast, we like seeing 2-2 series leads all across the board. But the Warriors up 3-1.
That's
So
how
if
we
they clinch
like
that
it.
spot, in the conference finals, 1-4 shot to take it home, it's not bad. The Warriors in the conference finals again. You like the sound of that, doesn't it sound good?
It sounds like we're back. That's what it sounds like.
It sounds like the Warriors are back. You heard it here on the Dubs Only podcast. Warriors win Game 4, 101-98. Josh Hall. Go Warriors. Good night. We'll do it again after Game 4 on Wednesday, yeah?
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Hope you have a great night.
All right, let's do it.